My name is Shane Baker, and I'm 39 years old, and I'm a member of the Gitxsan First Nation. I got a brain injury in 2003 at about 2:30 in the morning. I fell from a second floor of a parking lot and sustained massive facial and skull fractures 2.5 weeks later. When I was first coming out of my coma and I realized that I couldn't see anymore, I thought that my life was over. I wasn't able to take care of myself. I wasn't able to cook for myself. I wasn't able to clean my house. I remember crying to my mom saying that I didn't want to live anymore. And I meant it. In the first year, I refused all medications. After I started having seizures, the pain became so intense that I just couldn't handle it anymore. It started off with Tylenol 3 and quickly went to Percocet and then to OxyContin. I was completely addicted probably in a couple months. When I first got on the painkillers, I was in so much pain that a little bit of relief was appreciated. But the problem is that they work too well. Often I would go through my 2 weeks of prescription in a week and a half or a week. My family physician would prescribe it, and I would just tell him that I couldn't see and I lost them. I have a brain injury, my memory is not good. It's quite scary how fast I got addicted to those. I think that things changed for me in my life the night that my mom picked me up for dinner one night. She looked at me and said that I almost lost you once, but now I feel like I'm losing you for good. Very soon after that, I started getting connected with a medicine woman. She started explaining to me what the medicine wheel was and how I could use it in my life. I find these days that our society in general, addiction is looked upon very poorly, and there's an awful stigma to addiction. But I was proud to say that I had chosen to learn about myself and to learn teachings of my culture. Growing up in the city, I was away from a lot of my culture, and as I started getting into my healing and recovery, I realized that that was the missing link. It was my culture, it was my identity, it was traditions, it was how I felt about myself as a Gitxsan man. And as I started to develop these relationships with elders, with my parents, with new friends, it started to give me insight into who I was. What I soon realized is that I found it to be very empowering to talk about the addiction that I was going through. For all the years that I was struggling, I was a lost warrior, and it was culture and my community that helped me find myself and become the warrior that I am today. Yes, I have been an addict, but I also made the decisions in my life to change that. It was a little scary to let those shackles free, but it was also very empowering to realize that you do have control. I think one of the most exciting times of this whole process was when I realized that having other positive and like-minded people around me was going to be a real key to my wellness. I don't know if I would suggest going cold turkey the way I did. It was pretty brutal for about a week. I do believe that there's many ways of looking at addiction, because when you're going through something, everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be listened to realize that they matter, that people care about them and want to help them. So I think it's critical that we start having these conversations about drug use with our loved ones, with our friends, our family, our coworkers. It wasn't until I really looked inside to realize that I still had much to offer the world, and I just needed to find myself.